Ghost Gaming when they played here last week. So a change was needed. The question is this the right one?
Talk about an immediate turn face on this composition too, bro. They got away from everything that they were trying to pull off last couple of series with Jonah P kind of looking very uncomfortable on some of the duelists, getting him back into a supportive position, getting Seiya player back onto that jet. But now, you know, no longer having that chamber. And again, TSM made great use of this composition on attack on Haven against the 100 Thieves last week.
All right, we'll see how exactly this all unfolds as the early pressure for TSM starts to amount through Garage. A little bit of information gathering going down. Wow, okay, GMD just right through Garage. We'll take down two. Yeah, Madman is the correct term, Dust. Are you kidding?
I need a replay, please, of what Gumon just did this round. He just double TP'd right off the rip and gets 2 frags that completely caught the guard off guard. Wow, that's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
The guard off. Sorry, I apologize, viewers, for that one. That's on me. That was absolutely bonkers what just happened here as this retake is trying to come in from Seiya player. He's doing some things, but Gumon not having any of it there. That was just crazy. As you know, we're talking about role pivots. TSM obviously made some big ones last week as well, and they're maintaining that. You know, letting Seven be this more kind of flexible duelist player, not sticking him on a jet. You know, putting Corey on the chamber, which has become the more primary sniping agent. But yeah, look at this, dude. Look at this. Just
no fear.
All over it. Yeah, just no teleporting on top of a site, teleporting inside of a smoke, blindsiding back halls. I mean, that was just ludicrous.
Yeah. Another important statistic that I don't think the Dusk had brought up, one of the biggest kind of mishaps for the guards so far this stage, which is surprising. They have been atrocious in pistols this group stage so far, which was something that they were very good with in stage number 1. So obviously 0 for 1, we'll call that for now as we get into round number 2. TSM still looking to kind of control mid-map, but this way a little bit more pensive than we saw from round 1.
Yeah, again, the other big role swap that took place is Sub-Rosa back to Flex and Gumon back to controllers. This was one of the other big moves that TSM made last week. Even Rossi, obviously, is going through some agent changes, having been a pretty heavy Sova player when he first joined the team. Had played controllers in the past as well, so he's kind of, you know, trying to sort out playing Breach and playing some other different agents. So TSM's going through a lot of changes, not just in the roster, but with roles. And they're making it happen. As we are going to see Gumon catching this push down long C, gets a couple of frags. Seiya player will return. Gets the orb, start trying to build up that ult. So Rosa trying not to allow him to escape with the weapon here, and he will do just that. It's a great catch to make sure that they can't roll that Bulldog over.
Yeah, I love this from TSM. I think a lot of teams, they see the triple hit coming down C long, they'll say, let's just take the spike and immediately run over towards A, but the patience to kind of capitalize on more eliminations leaves Jonah by himself.
30 seconds left.
Okay, gonna collect the weapon, flashed and stunned, but this is now the time for TSM to use that information, rotate back over, make the long haul back to A, and get a free plant.
Yeah, this is going to be all she wrote for this round. A couple of casualties along the way, but TSM will still comfortably take a win here as they get this plant down over on the A side. Getting themselves in some good post-plant positions. Not really giving Jonah P a whole lot to work with, especially with the Stinger on a retake. I mean, not really the best weapon at range. Going to have to hope you can get someone up close.
Well, he's going to have a couple of opportunities here. Sub-Rosa, the first one up, and no, that'll be the last one up for him. Okay, so TSM, good stuff here. I mean, again, I just love the fact that we're already seeing a little bit of variety in the tempo. Very quick, obviously, for the pistol, but then a more reserved-natured hit in round 2.
Yeah, I think just to kind of echo that, TSM showed a lot of different looks in their series against 100 Ds. They are known for their faster pace executes and having a lot of different ones to go to, right? Not like a very default heavy team, a very explosive, like we just want to run set pieces. We have a lot of them. We can give you a lot of different looks, make us hard to read. What they did in their bonus round against the 100 Ds, which I'm curious to see if they do it here, is they just did a heavy B play and they really attacked the A link with Neon's utility. 7 was really good at using that utility to really disrupt the links and just kind of use that to get into B side. And with SMGs, that's kind of the site you want to fight in, right? And look at it. Here they go. Watch how they attack A-Link on this play.
Utility. Yeah. Offensive utility in play already, though. Gumon can take the opportunity to try to teleport up top, but an aftershock will stop him in his tracks. Fast lane to dissect this B zone, but the guard are actually kind of in a good spot to deal with this. A lot of utility already spent for TSM, and not a lot of ground gained. Spike will be planted, but the weaponry just a little bit too superior. Though we do have a 3v2, and maybe there is an opportunity for Gumon with a salvaged rifle to make something happen, but now it's all on his shoulders. 1v3, a lot of damage confirmed, but no kills, and the guard will safely retake.
Yeah, and you saw, I think, the guard kind of have a read on what TSM was going to try to do there just based on the 100 Thieves game from last week, and that's why you kind of just saw them sit back at A-Link. They didn't look to attack the choke. They kind of let TSM burn utility through the Link area first, and they just kind of sat back with superior weaponry and took the range battles against the SMGs and just won out those duels. Did a really good job managing that situation, not letting that spiral out of control. Good containment. And that'll get them the victory on TSM's bonus. TSM back to a full buy, though Gamon is going to be on the Spectre. And again, TSM is one of those teams that like to just kind of pick a target of interest early and kind of really apply pressure to it. They don't necessarily always commit right away off the back of it. They could just fall back, use it as a feint to fake. But again, expect a lot of fast-paced play for them early in these rounds.
Oh, here it is. First place indeed, but it's actually just the gunfight taken by Saya player, easily collected as well. Tag down to half HP, but the early play for TSM largely stifled. Say that with some hesitation because the guard have backed off of that Shower's position, trusting that Trent will be able to watch the cross.
Yeah, Trent will just keep an eye on things here at A lobby. See the garage pressure coming in from TSM. It has been detected by the Killjoy utility. TSM not shying away from it, though. Release still putting that pressure on there, kind of baiting out more Killjoy utility, as well as the Astra Gravwell with this fast lane. And they've burnt a lot of utility with just that one flash lane right there that you see. So that's going to make it a little bit harder for the guard later on to defend the re-aggression that's going to take place at long, or potentially have to go for sniper retake a little bit later.
Well, the trouble about this still is the fact that it's just a solo defender and Trent watching the cross to A. There's so much utility defensively for the Killjoy inside of B.
Yep.
So it almost feels like the guard have a pretty good idea on where this hit is going to be going towards. And they've even got Saya player now taking control of mid-map as the hit is on the way. So now it's just down to these last two guard defenders inside the site. How long can they stay here? Seekers are out. Seven having a hard time finding anyone in the back of the site. And the guard will get the opening too. Sabrosa, though, with Gamon will be able to trade things back. And we've got ourselves a 2v2 here, Dust.
I'm actually kind of surprised how well the guard handled that attack initially. It keeps them in the hunt in this 2 versus 2, though TSM did a good job fighting back with some of those final duels to get themselves a spike down. Owl Drone coming out through the back halls, trying to figure out someone on site, not going to quite spot Gamon, who still sits in the center, as he will be looking to face Saya player here shortly at Garage. Unless timing works against them here, he looks away, and the Saya player able to catch him. Now it's on Sabrosa with low health.
Avoids the recon dart, but no, nothing beyond it. It's Saya player for 4 in the round, and oh boy, it really does come down to just the stalwart defense from the only 2 defenders inside the site. It was Val and Net. They did a nice job holding off TSM for a time, and then you thought for a second that the tables had turned. Good re-entry coming out, TSM cleaning up the work, but just too hindered to keep the post plan in play.
I think it's a combination of things. Like, one, you were dead on. Like, their rotation was great because they were trusting in Trent to solo hold long A, so they could have 2B, 2C. That's a quick rotation to defend off the attack. But still, TSM lobbed a lot of different flashes and kind of disruption utility, you know, clearing out the black platform, clearing out sight boxes, like threatening back halls. Like, they threw a lot of utility out there to really try to make those defenders uncomfortable on C side, yet they still came up with a pretty good amount of frags and, you know, gave their team a winnable 2-on-2 situation in the post plant. And Saya player and company able to collect, and Saya player's having a heck of a game. Already 10 kills in 4 rounds played, making up for Valorant and Trent a little bit slow off the starting blocks.
And just something else on top of the compositional change that we're seeing from the guard, which is, I think, very actively why the desk was harping on it so much, is that we needed to see something new from the guard. Outside of the comps alone, this team last stage was one of the best teams when they were at full purchase, winning 61% of their rounds. This stage so far, through the first 2 weeks, they are the worst team in full buy rounds, only winning 47%. So rounds like that are going to be, I think, a big key to this series overall when we start to see these full versus fulls.
I just think the funny thing is that the something new is something old. You know,
true.
It might not be blue, but, you know, the whole, like, thing there, I mean, obviously they had the breach in play instead of the sky, you know, so that's kind of a difference maker. They're not playing both at the same time. So that is a bit of a tweak, but, you know, still a lot of the roles are kind of being revisited that they used to use in the past. But they had a lot of success on this map last stage. Let's be honest about it. They were one of the kings of Haven in North America for quite some time earlier this year.
No, that's a really good shout.
They were like on a crazy undefeated streak until they lost to Cloud9 in the group stage. Like, they were crushing everybody, and now they're trying to return back to that comfort, and so far, so good.
Oh, how about this little play for TSM trying to sneak their way over towards A? Will quickly track back as they realize they're running into Jonah P, which is not an agent that you want to run into. So Sabrosa will re-clear Akka over through C-Link. Net has safely found himself a cubby to work in. And interesting left, TSM is staying flexible here. It could catch them a bit off guard, and yeah, sure has. Corey's going to find one to open things up, and that's going to lead to a spike plant.
This is a pattern that TSM has done on some of their bonuses and force buys, is just attack these link areas through B and use that to get close quarters battles and create a little bit of a ruckus. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to really benefit more than a spike plant, but hey, that's still at least some economy gained. At least they made things a little bit spicy for a moment there, but the guard will eventually settle in. This will be their third round in a row. Starting to get their defense flowing. Certainly nice to see. Because again, the guard, big story of last stage, winning the whole thing. Didn't do so great at champions, obviously, but return still kind of seen as a front runner, but 0-2 in the groups, and this is their moment. I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to say for sure, but you'd imagine if they do take a loss in the series today, they're probably out the playoff picture. I mean, it's not impossible to make playoffs, but it puts you in a really rough spot where it's unlikely. So this is good to see them kind of fired up early. But TSM, they still have plenty of pages to turn in the playbook, so to speak.
I love the fact that even though they've lost now 3 rounds in a row, TSM are still kind of creating opportunities. Yeah. Even if it was just an eco, it just goes to show that they're willing to play their style of the game, and they're not going to look to back off that whatsoever. So an important round here, though, just to try to get things back on track if you're TSM.
Yeah, it's like a very similar
setup at guard.
Very similar to like
a setup here, Dust.
Yeah, very lots of stuff set up over there, like you said, between the Astra and the Killjoy. So it's going to be a very tough spot to attack, which is possible because we're seeing them kind of get to grass. Like they maybe want to start taking some garage control, so that certainly could come into play. But yeah, TSM's been kind of just like playing this kind of Optic-esque, you know, composition with the Neon for 7 and that double initiator of Breach and Sky, and it works really well on this map. They are starting to get a little bit bogged down here. The guards finding ways to fin back now that they've found their comfort again.
Right there.
Onside player starting to lurk up A long with this operator.
Yeah.
A couple of pings have come over this direction, but Side player may have beat the timing. Sure has. There's the easy kill. Charges up the dash. Doesn't need it yet. And things have gone from bad to worse here for TSM, who either need to force their way through the operator of Saya player or through all of that defensive utility. And actually, how about this? Seven's going to run right on into him. What in the heavens has happened right here? Saya player's still alive.
Okay.
No one can find each other.
Everything's fine, Shift. No need for concern. That definitely took a lot longer than it should have, and it was quite awkward, but they do eventually get that trade off the utility. But look at this Rolling Thunder, not allowing the spike to go down. Hunter's Fury coming through as well. Really making this thing chaotic, and there's so little time left for TSM to respond. But Corey, he does get his man onto Jonah P. But the lockdown continues to cause problems, but they're finding a way to plant through it.
Oh, and they do get the spike down just in the nick of time. The defenders at Heaven not able to get an angle, so now we go to a 3v2 favoring TSM. It's all down to Trent just like this for the 1v2. He finds the first one down low. Now it's the last 1v1 with Rossi in the corner. He sees the feet, but Rossi's happy to take the gunfight. It doesn't matter. Trent for the 1v2 and a 4K. Gets a Red Bull clutch for the guard.
Oh, and that's the Studley Trent you were looking to see today. Obviously, such a big name to come out of the last stage. Basically coming out of nowhere, for honest, very much out of obscurity, became kind of an instant star in the region, playing a role like the one he's playing right now on Sova. Obviously had a tough time at his first LAN and tough settling into this stage, but this is what you really want to see if you're the guard fan. It's Trent getting fired up, getting a big Red Bull clutch for you, and keeping this pace up for the guard. This is now several rounds in a row, 4 to be exact. And now they cause a TSM timeout. The momentum is very much on the guard side right now.
Man, what a turnaround. The thing about it is, look, we're not going to say turnaround just for this one map, right? Because it's still early. But turnaround just compared to last week, the week before that. Sure. These post-plant breakdowns from the guard have been very solid. Very, very solid. And that's where a lot of the confusion was kind of surrounding the conversation around the guard was in the late stages of rounds in stage 1, this team was arguably the best in North America. And that was absent in the first 2 weeks. They have come back to play, that's for sure. These retakes have been great.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the big things that the guard were known for last stage is just great fundamentals.
Yeah.
Good kind of like role distribution and just plenty strong at like using their utility in a coordinated way to get things done, whether that was taking map control or taking a site or a retake like you just saw there, where everything was just perfectly timed. I think when you look at some of their earlier matches this stage so far, they just looked a little bit not on the same page, a little sloppy, like that there was just, they weren't as refined as we're used to seeing, but this is more like it.
Let's play.
to force out for Corey. Everyone else with rifles for TSM's offense after the timeout. Rossi actually looks like he may have gained the orb. Yeah, sure has. He's got his full Rolling Thunder ready to go, and that was all TSM wanted, so they'll restructure and likely look to head over towards A.
Yeah, obviously heard the operator firing off some Seiya player at C. But Seiya player's made a pretty quick rotation to get back to A. Seems like he has a pretty good read of what's going on. Trent still kind of the early detection system. Kind of jiggle peeking through long. Now gets back into sight. Seiya player will now take up towards sewers. Will they expect this? That's the big question. He initiates tailwind, gets his shot. He's able to get away. Can he slow him down? Yes, he can. What a shot on the 7.
That is unbelievable. 7 looking for the trade, immediately turned aside. GMD, though, does get into the site. With the Rolling Thunder cutting across, it opens up the opportunity for maybe the offensive moment to get to work. And get to work he has. Corey followed up behind. It turns us now to a 3v3 situation with TSM able to plant.
Yeah, that was a great response from TSM in just the nick of time, but will they expect this flank from net through long? It's coming so quickly. They have a player in sewers as kind of a anchor point, but they're just not ready for this pinch, perhaps, as Gamal does get Jonah P down. That alleviates some pressure, but there comes that flank into play, and we're back to equal footing.
GMD in the corner takes a couple of shots. Valen now very aware that there's a player in the corner, but as the dark cover fades away, it's GMD for 1. Now it's down to a 1v1. Net catches where Corey's positioned. One more toggle. Corey, gonna wait. Not biting on it whatsoever. And those last shots will guarantee hasn't gotten to halfway yet. Corey will finish off the last kill, and TSM will finally hold the post plant.
Wow, what a recovery from TSM within the midst of that round. You have to give credit to Seiya player. He was absolutely destroying that initial look to take the A side before they could even get Rolling Thunder out and really start trying to execute. He just caused that mass disruption in sewers with a double. Particularly this kill on the 7's outrageous. But Gabon uses Rolling Thunder to get under Heaven and then starts going to work here with Corey to start chipping back at the round. While Net's flank does get some success, Corey able to win out the 1v1 and put an end to this streak from the guard as we are right into the midst of things. Look, a Seiya player trying to get aggro with the Blade Storm at C is kind of fended off, though.
It will force a lot of utility to reclaim this, though, before TSM could do too much. So, with the guard, you've at least created time in this defense. And actually, they're going to challenge Seiya player. I don't know why you would. He's on fire right now.
Yeah, he's
feeling it. We'll take
it.
Down one with him.
Yeah, I mean, they probably had an idea he was up there, so they were trying to attack. That didn't quite work, but now the utility comes out to try to push forward towards the platform. So Rosa able to get the entry onto Jonah P. Seekers put Seiya player out of the equation, and they follow up nicely with the double entry on 7.
Yeah, good answer there. The Seekers making sure the knives have to be put down. And now Sabrosa cutting off reinforcements. Well designed by TSM. Seiya player definitely had a couple lined up, but can only take down one off the initial peak, and TSM say that's good enough for us to still force it forward and likely take our 4th round.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the strength of TSM, is around just like that. It's just the rapid pace attacks with the layered utility. You know, they have double flashes capable to allow 7 to kind of get trebucheted forward with support. And then they have the guys who can follow up and frag, you know, to kind of be behind the tip of the spear, which is 7. And that's TSM's strength right now, with this kind of dual calling system where Sabrosa's calling the shots on attack from the initiator role. He just kind of prompts these just really rapid executes. And if you don't do anything to disrupt them, if they can get comfortable, if they can get their feet underneath them, they are so deadly with the firepower that they possess in all roles to just make these fast-paced attacks work.
I've got your trail.
Another look at it from this point of view. Just so much blocking. You can't even see these Seekers until you're in your face.
Yep.
And yeah, there's nothing Seiya player could do from that point forward. So yeah, it's just, I still have to give a lot of credit. I know we're kind of taking a lot of our narrative focus towards can the guard recover after their first 2 weeks, but TSM has been doing this since the beginning of qualifiers, and that's one of the reasons why they are a major threat in this group.
Yeah, TSM's kind of back to being interesting again for sure. They've been through so many changes over the years, with Sabrosa being the only OG left.
Yeah.
Obviously 2 big changes at the beginning of the year, and then 2 more just, what, back in early April, mid-April? So it's been a huge restructuring process for TSM, but they have come into this group stage looking ferocious, particularly against that 100 Thieves lineup last week. Looked really deadly in that one with the role changes. Now they're up against pretty much an eco here from the guard, finding a free C site.
Well done.
Okay, Corey gets busted there.
Pick. Yeah. So Sabrosa, wait, Sabrosa's actually going to reach
Alone.
challenge. If they get the trade here, this will be weapons for the guard. This is a very doable round. There's the flash out. But Jonah cannot finish it off quite enough. That is a helpful concussive fault line on the way through to try to make sure that Sabrosa stays safe.
Yeah.
And with that, TSM may have just locked down this post plan.
That was a bad timing, though. Sabrosa could have been in a lot of trouble, but now he's getting support from his teammate Rossi, and they're able to anchor down here at Long C, which is really helping because Net was certainly creating some pressure here from Garage.
One enemy remaining.
That's still doing some work here. Goodness. A destructive round to be sure. Net was the only one who brought a rifle to battle. And he's got the opportunity to maybe even put some more damage in, but instead decides, nope, got to save it. So we'll run away, but man, I'm telling you, you're absolutely right. Sabrosa falls down there. There's an opportunity where guards secure that round. So get away with the skin of their teeth as TSM.
There was definitely a window where Rossi wasn't quite there yet to help him out, where if he would have gotten caught off that first flash, he would have been in some trouble, but he wins his first 1v1 duel, able to counter flash and buy time for Rossi to get there to help them anchor down that position. And so, just like that, all of a sudden TSM have banged out a few in a row. Now they're back in the lead. Very fragile economy for the guard going forward right now. If they were to lose this, they might be back to saving, and TSM could really start creating a gap here.
Yeah. We'll see. Trailblazer outside player will be scouted by this. Already has Tailwind charged up, but we'll just instead Cloud Burst and go up high. So Fastline has already been pulled for TSM, but they're not going to utilize it. It definitely has pulled the guard a little bit more respect towards A defensively, and that seems to be good enough for TSM.
You've burned some utility over there at A. You've also caused a disturbance. You've caused a rotation. This has probably caused a gap here at Garage or B site. That's the read that they have, and they'd be correct in it. You start to see them putting that pressure on Garage right now. Oh, that's a nice one. Net knew what type of angle he would force 7 into with his utility and took the fight and won it. That's big.
GD can commit to the front of the shadows, and he's not going to find anything. What a defensive play here from Net. The setup to assist for the first blood over through Garage, and then tracking back to make sure that the offensive omen could do nothing. And now a defensive lockdown, which is going to be a problem, although Sabrosa is trying to sneak around to deny it, and it's not going to work out, and that very well will likely be the round with it as, well, Corey's detained. Trying to get to a quarter. He will get there just barely.
Yeah. I mean, this is a done deal. And Net looks like he's feeling it again. I mean, obviously, they kind of shoved him on the Breach for 3 maps last week, and his first 3 times playing Breach in an official match was that series. And now that he's back on Killjoy, back to a Sentinel role, he is feeling it. He is very much feeling back in his comfort zone, and that was a big round from him just now.
Crucial one as well, because it very well could have been another difficult financial situation from the guard going into the late stages of this first half, but now we get to another full gun round, and one that will have an astral divide, cosmic divide rather, to play for the Astra. And this is just, again, just textbook play from Net, as mentioned. It's not just the fact that the setup works out well. He knows exactly where his safety net is, quite literally moving back over towards using the lockdown. And it's just, yeah, that's just what you want to see out of a Sentinel player.
And a big round to do it because their economy was in a bad way. If they lose that round, they're likely losing a couple in a row, and TSM's building up the lead. But now they keep things at equal footing. 5 apiece, very back and forth affair here in the mid portion of this first half. TSM wasting no time. It looks like they're going to put that pressure yet again on Garage. They spot the Killjoy utility. They get the stun on him. They force Net back. So they will take the space, but Seiya player cuts off the other angle.
Yeah, that all of a sudden makes it essentially a non-factor making a play through Garage when the operator is only worried about that play through tunnel. So a quick rotation back through grass, and not just into B, but through it. And Trent is the only real defensive entity here at A link at the moment. But oh, Jonah just long inside a spawn. He thought they had done enough. But instead, it has to be down to Trent to come back through. It's even exchange, taking us to a 3v2, but the spike is planted.
Yeah, again, TSM likes to attack that A-Link on these B attacks, and they're usually pretty successful with it, particularly against 100 Thieves last week, but the guards done a really good job just kind of playing a little bit more back and absorbing that pressure and then coming out on top in the trades. And that's why they have man advantage here on this retake, and they're going to roll into a victory, it seems. Rossi trying to hold on for dear life. Does get away, has Rolling Thunder. This could actually get interesting.
Oh, sure will. There it goes. It gets popped. He's going to take the knife out, re-wrap back over towards mid. Fault line comes through. Aftershock comes out as well. That's going to force him off the spike once again. Halfway defused. Net gets the kill. Is there enough to finish off the defuse? No! It's going to be a clutch! What a play from Rossi!
Oh man, I was just discussing how well the guard was managing the A-link pressure TSM was trying to instill post-plant, and how it was giving them a huge edge on the retake and the man count, and that was certainly the case. But Rossi does just enough. He gets this frag here that gives him a chance to escape with his ult, get into garage. This is the first level of disruption. But then he still has to come back around with the fault line, the aftershock, to add that additional layer, and he's able to buy just enough time to not allow this defuse to come through. What a big moment for Rossi, and kind of a new role, too. By the way, one of his first kills of the whole game right now.
Big one, especially considering that Saya player had him dead to rights. Saw the barrel of the gun the whole way through, but this time we go fast lane, right into high gear, as it will be 7 on the way through. Finger guns in hand. Seeker's also a part of the equation, as the guard are actually overwhelming through a lobby. This is going to result in a free plant. Hunter's Fury's a little bit late, but it does still collect a kill into Rossi. In response, Cora in the backhand side, not done yet. Trailblazer will scout out to the guard, is still threatening from this A-link. Backside of it, Saya player trying to make his way forward. 7, the timing is perfect, and TSM collect the kills needed.
Wow. Wow, indeed. This is something the guard has been kind of known for, defensive Haven, is these AAA lobby pushes, right? And so TSM calling a gut shot C-rush, maybe having an idea of that tendency, I mean, is huge, right? It's like one of those things where either we're right and they put a lot of presence A early and we find the gap and we expose that, or, you know, at worst, maybe we have to deal with 2 players on site where we feel comfortable with our flashes to still get through that, right? So it's like a very risk-free, or low risk, I should say, like call to run that play. And I mean, what a huge result it nets them.
All right, well, there it is. 7-5 the first half. We'll swap the sides. Be back right after the 2-minute break. Don't go far. Tight first half here. A bit surprising to say, as TSM's map pick sees the guard going back to a map that they got 13-1'd on by Ghost, but obviously the process and the trust factors have come together here, Dust. The guard looked much better, but it is still TSM up by 2.
Yeah, it was the attacking side that got him against Ghost. 1 round on attack. In a full 12-round half.
Yeah.
Gonna need a lot better than that. But
That's
back to more comfortable roles, back to kind of what you'd expect. This is a composition they've been able to do a lot of work in the past with, or one similar to this, I should say. As they were, you know, over 60% attack win rate last stage.
Well, we'll see what happens here, as Net has already gotten a little bit of information on someone crossing from B to A, but Corey is very far forward. Recon Bolt makes him reconsider. There's the peek, and the rendezvous will get him out of dodge, at least for now. That does allow an opportunity for the guard to start stepping forward towards A.
Indeed it does. They start walking their way up. They have Sewer's presence as well right now. Trent are still kind of poking and prodding at garage with Net. It's kind of keeping the TSM defense interested over on this side of the map. But now they know what's up. Smokes are down. Players are in. Spike making its way forward. And Net might cut off this rotation. Yeah, he does. That's huge.
Spike planted.
Rossi down is a major factor for TSM on the retake. And oh, how about this? Sevens is going to try to force it forward with Corey watching over top. And it's really not going to work out the way it was designed. GMD not moving at the moment for TSM. So it's up to Corey to try to make something happen. Not going to work out. Wow. And this is what we need to see from the guard. It's not just compositional changes. We need to see them start doing better on pistols.
Yeah, that's certainly a good point. As I'm wondering, is like Gimon lagged out or something?
I don't know.
He has not budged. Apparently, I'm getting confirmation he did indeed lag out, so that's unfortunate. So we'll have a technical pause here after this round's come to a close.
Still, though, long lurk from Net is honestly win condition right there from the guard. You get Rossi off the table, and I mean, there's just not an opportunity to retake.
Yeah, that was a big catch from Net in B side to really slow that retake down, and they tried to force the issue through low side and just really got caught up there.
Yeah.
And so the guard will start closing that small gap early here. Likely will be tying this thing up here any moment once we get past the tech pause. And again, the guard in the past really known to get like 7 or more attacking rounds on this map pretty regularly. Again, always good fundamentals, always just good utility usage to pave through sites, a lot of confidence. And now that they're back onto a comp that's more resembles what they've done in the past. Maybe that comfort will help bring that back.
Yeah, I mean, because you look back over the stuff that the Guard has put together, and you'd kind of said it, like, it's something new by doing something old in a way.
Yeah.
But and I think it was Ender that said in Destiny, like, but it's also the innovation of bringing in the Breach into the mix. So it's like, it's kind of this fusion comp between what we had known to what we've recently started to see, and it puts the Guard onto respective roles that we would have normally anticipated going into even this stage. So I don't know, it just feels right, I guess. There's no really great analysis to it, it just feels right.
Yeah. But, I mean, TSM definitely known for having a strong defense on this map. There's no doubt about that. Like, when you think about the core of this team, this is probably, statistically speaking, their best defensive map. Certainly, Icebox would come close. But, yeah, I mean, they have, in the past, really torn it apart. And again, a little bit different looking team than in the past. 2 new players on board, but definitely the core of this team comfortable defending on this side. And they definitely have some good agents to use to kind of help with the retakes in particular. So it will be whether or not the Guard can kind of muster back up their strengths on attack from the previous stage versus a TSM team that looks very dangerous so far this stage.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they did lose to NRG, but heck, Breeze was, what, double overtime? Ascent was very close, 13-10. So certainly didn't look like slouches even with that loss, and now they've kind of pivoted the roles back a little bit and look great against 100 Thieves, and they're definitely very much in this contest right now. I mean, it's still very much up for grabs. Very, very hard to read who's like really in control at the moment.
Even just outside of this match, you could kind of say the same thing about this group overall. It's kind of a free hunting ground. I think the only reason that we would say would throw a team out of the loop here is if the Guard end up losing the series and go 0-3 in the group. That would be a huge surprise.
Yeah, I think front runners to the group, certainly XSET was like a team that I think a lot of people would at least be in one of the top spots. Maybe not necessarily number one, but certainly one of the guys you think could do it. I mean, they've kind of gone from contender and gatekeeper to front runner, I feel like, this stage so far. A lot of their role swapping that they've done has really panned out greatly, and they seem to be in good form. So they're leading the group 2-0. And then, yeah, after that, really tough. I mean, 100 Thieves have certainly looked sharp at times, 1-1 record. Ghost has come out kind of hot so far, in my opinion. And now you got TSM, you know, looking pretty good thus far. And if the Guard can get a win here and get back in the mix, all of a sudden it gets real interesting how the spots will shake down in Group A.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, just for what it's worth, the Guard still has to play XSET.
Yep. That
would be next week's match for them. And then they also have NRG to finish things off. So,
yeah,
it would be like a do or die. You have to win. I mean, you kind of have to win these 3.
Yeah, you really, they kind of guarantee it or give yourself a solid shot. Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, you start to hope that other teams do things poorly, which is never great. We get back into it after the tech pause. It's going to be the Guard now searching things out towards C. Aldrin actually going to catch some pretty significant information, but that will be all that they want. And Zaya player and 7 dancing around one another. 7 playing very close to this wall. Guiding light through middle, and this is all going to be heard. 7's going to quickly reposition.
Yep, definitely got to go. That is very true. You need to get out of here. They're in a lot of trouble. He's going to kind of play in the sewers and try to see if he can make something happen. And he gets caught up there. And, I mean, it's just kind of the mowdown you'd expect.
Yeah.
Starting the firepower discrepancy. It's going to square us up at 7-all.
Yeah, it seemed like a situation where 7 was thinking I was damned if I did, damned if I didn't.
Sure.
Enemy remaining.
Comes to where he was positioned up to it, so now it's up to Corey. Can he make anything happen, or will it be a Prime Gaming flawless first one so far this week? And yes, it will be. So it's a pistol plus the follow-up for the Guard to get us back to a 7-7 game. An important round here coming up, I would say, for both sides' perspectives.
Yeah, TSM, you want to cash in against this bonus. If you're the Guard and you pull off the bonus, you're feeling like you're back.
Yeah.
You're feeling like the scrim bucks are about to get cashed in.
Take him to the bank.
All the way to the moon.
Let's see.
Let's see. Yep. Jinx.
You owe me a Coke.
No, I called the Jinx, so you owe me one.
Well, I thought we were doing this whole back and forth thing. I thought it was pretty cute, so I thought I'd just keep it up. Yeah.
All right. Mountain stakes are that high. That's a beverage, sir.
Quick rotation through Garage with a Nebula to cover the defensive link will allow a free plant to come through, but look at TSM. Happy to give this away. Well, I should say maybe not happy, but okay in regards to give this away. Looking to play off of a long flank, but the interesting thing about this is Net is here and playing in a forward angle, which should allow him an easy 1-for-1.
This is a tough retake. No ults on the table. Just got to go with base utility and just trying to slice your way in. Obviously, the Guard are pretty organized in how they're set up right now. They have plenty of utility to disrupt spike diffuses.
An opening exchange comes through, but but Net falls on the long flank. Hold on a second. TSM don't have to worry about those nanostorms we just saw in the picture-in-picture all of a sudden. But the problem is the clock. There's not a lot of time left. It just took too long, honestly.
Yeah, Sabros was getting a lot of work done, that long C flank, but they just couldn't get that extra angle of approach to really get into the site and feel comfortable. Great hold by the Guard on site. Even as Sub-Rosa was causing a ruckus in the back line, they were able to hold where they needed to.
One down.
Holding this back hauls off from Saya player was huge, as well as being on the turn face and help the garage pressure. And so the Guard looking fired up right now.
Oh, yeah.
They know how much this match means. They know what the expectations are. They know what they're capable of. And now it's starting to come back to fruition again for them.
Well, TSM now on the Eco with just a Stinger and Sheriffs to play with are going to be tested heavily. By all intents, you would say towards C, but no intention for the Guard to commit, at least not as of yet. Wait for the utility, and now they're making their way through. And actually, GMD is going to find one. That'll soften up this attack a little bit.
It will. Also, obviously TSM are going to bite on that immediately. They have low firepower. They kind of have to roll the dice a little bit here, so they're all here. They're starting to clear out Garage with the Trailblazer. You can see the Guard are wanting to cut noise and try to get this defense to rotate back before they commit. But the utility that TSM is using is kind of keeping them confirmed that, hey, they're still here. We can still hold this. They're going to keep that trust in 7, the solo hold A. They're just going to continue to kind of dice roll on this side of the map. But now, finally, the Guard realized that maybe pivoting might be the best option. Or do they? Or do they?
Guiding light, not seeing anything. The Guard are going to use that as an opportunity to keep the noise cut and then overwhelm C. Here we go. One Thunder going to be spent. Your goodness. That'll allow them in. Saya player does get affected by it, though, so a little bit slower into the site than you normally expect, but it doesn't make a difference. Rossi with an SMG, the Stinger in hand will get one, but that will be all. And honestly, that guiding light, it was nice to clear information, but the Guards say, wait a second, if they're going to clear out C long, let's go ahead and rehit.
Yeah, it's one of those tough calls if you're TSM where, you kind of have to, again, you have to gamble a little bit there. And so when you don't hear that they're still there off that guiding light, you think, okay, maybe they're pivoting. You roll off, and that's when the Guard hits you with the ult and just storm the site. And so now they're up 9-7, but TSM back to a full buy. But this is a critical moment for TSM. Their funds are expunged on many of their players. Corey does have Tour de Force, though, so that is going to help out here.
Corey's going to pull up the scope. Took a shot at Saya player who double jumped over towards A-Long. Didn't really see too much. Trailblazer will confirm 2 members, at least offensively, threatening through the middle of the map. And with stars being placed down, TSM is going to rotate around towards mid.
Yeah, they're looking to take into Garage right now. They're going to find a softened up side at the moment. It really is just Gamon playing in the back of the site, but the rotation back hauls is coming through. And these smokes is providing cover for them to kind of get into position here. Rossi's playing the top log, so Rosa jumps in from behind. And just like that, TSM destroy this split. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. That was so rapid.
Yeah. It all starts, I think, first and foremost, Gamon just kind of playing it off angle. Doesn't get himself trapped behind in the pits and just sits up top, and this is just a peek from the heavens. I mean, my goodness. And then as everyone's focusing and trying to get the trade, the timing is just executed absolutely flawlessly.
It's just a nice response from TSM. Like, while they may not have had personnel ready to help Gamon, they had utility there very quickly between the fast lane and, Gamon's smoke to kind of create that wall in the center of the site to get their players out of back hauls and on point to fight. And they come out on top. Really well done. Great timing on that flank Garage as well.
The scope play here for Corey early through A-Long with support from 7 over towards Sewer. Nebulas will cover. That will push him off an instant. And Saya player, does he try to charge through with this Al drone?
Very possible. Corey still
Trailblazer
entering alongside, though. Yeah, like you said, the Trailblazer counters that play. Corey is also still holding the fort down here at long A, but the utility finally pushes him off. And now here comes that comment spot. Here comes that push from the guard. Now they've created some space, but Seven gets a big kill, forces him away.
Seekers once again, the bane of Saya players' existence, just climbing up the double stack box, gives TSM all the intel that they need. And this Cosmic Divide is essentially going to do absolutely nothing for any intents towards A. Rotation coming up pretty quickly, though, over towards C, and Gomonda's going to be pushed off of his initial off angle. Rossi here to assist, but look at Net's positioning. He could cut off one or two here.
Oh, tested it a little bit there. Still playing the link. Rossi spots it, though, and now they have that pinned, and Sub Rosa comes in from behind on grass, and the guard are stuck in a bad way right now. They're trying to shuffle the spike back over to B, but they are a man down. They need Net to make a play to kind of save the day at this point, and Net's still looking to be the aggressor over on this link area. They also still have garage control with Jonah P, so there's still some ways back in here for the guard.
Yeah, sure are. Right. Thing about this is you have to get a good first blood, and Jonah's going to re-wrap. They're going to find Goman now with 3v3. They know exactly where this hit's coming from. It has to be coming from A-Link side. Seven, though, off of the flash. Oh, that's just too good. Hyperdrive in play. That'll take down 3. Now it's just down to Jonah. Gets the first, no problem. Sees the second. Oh, wait a second. He knows exactly where Rossi is for the 1v3. No! Rossi on the corner. Tidies it up, but goodness, was that ever a look for Jonah.
That was very close for the guard. I mean, you think about it, TSM won out a lot of the skirmishes. Like, there was so many, like, space and utility exchanges over on the A side of the map, but, you know, eventually TSM comes out on top thanks to the Seekers and catching Saya player and, you know, pushing them back. Did you see the guard trying to go potentially for the C hit? They get swatted off of that as well. Here's the moment with Saya player I was referring to. So then they try to pivot back to C. Then Sub Rosa flanks them, they're getting boxed in, so they just get pinched in the B. They have to do something, right? But somehow, some way, they almost pull it off. But Rossi able to get the clutch and does eventually get TSM the victory. Just a much harder path than they probably expected.
Golly. 9-9. Full purchase for both sides. Rolling Thunder for Rossi. Jonah one off. Trent. Hunter's Fury earned. And it looks like there very well could be early point of contact made here at C, depending on what comes off of the recon board. Jonah's going to take that as an opportunity to move on in, but it's Command on that! A little snap to get the second. Keeps things a little bit more defensively significant towards C as the Rolling Thunder comes through to clear, and the guard will bring the spike on site.
Yeah, that was big. They were so close to the corner, really. So when Seven shoots that recon bolt, they know he's double stacked, and they're able to trade him out pretty quickly. Gamon, I have to admit, makes a nice play through Rolling Thunder for 2 frags, but Saya player equalizes from platform, gets it into a 3 versus 2, spike down. Now their lockdown slows this retake down a little bit here. Valen finds the timing on the Sub Rosa, and that should be it, really.
Wow.
Man, tit
all
for
took
tat
was one
right
recon
now.
bolt, man. Yeah, it really is. So Corey will save naturally, and we get to a very crucial round coming up here. TSM, I believe, still have enough to purchase, but
because think about the dynamics of that. Gamon probably has his flash going, so he can't shoot the recon bolt, so it forces Seven to have to do so. And they're right there to get him as soon as they hear his gunfire off. And again, credit where credit's due for Gamon to get a couple of frags and try to fend that off, but Saya player with a great recovery once they take the control on site. He gets on plat, he gets a couple of big moments there towards back halls and wraps it up for the guard. We're now back up 10-9. As you said, money is still mostly there for a full buy. Seven has to do a little bit without on a Spectre, but I mean, yeah, these last 4 rounds have been quite the skirmish.
Yeah.
It's kept us very close on the scoreboard.
Not much separating the two.
Not at all.
And I think the biggest thing here is, I think if you're TSM, you got to be talking about where do we want to position Seven in this instance, because we've had Corey with this operator kind of continue to play on the deep side of A. We've had that
He's
time and time
kind
again.
of struggled, honestly, to have impact.
Really, honestly, yeah.
And obviously, I think Chamber's a new role for him. I think he only really played it last week, but he did so to pretty good effect.
Yeah.
But he's had a couple little hiccups here and there.
So I'm wondering, I think if you put Seven into a position to just kind of utilize this kind of a high gear shoulder peek around A, move the operator back over towards C to help out with these early long pushes that have been coming through. Number of options.
I think trying to disrupt the guard a little bit is definitely a good call. You know, try to put him in a position where he can kind of be the dagger in the middle of them. You know, whether that's taking an aggressive peek down middle or something along those lines. Something you kind of guarantee he can get involved early, because they've done a really good job on swatting him off of feeling comfortable at long A with their utility. He's never really been able to get a shot off.
Again too.
Yeah, could very well. Yeah, see, I mean, he just can't get a shot off.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering. Is it just maybe better suited to get 7 over into a position to just play through sewers? But this is the same defensive setup for TSM, largely speaking.
Yep.
You can just walking through. The guard have not spent any utility outside of the opening fault line to do this. Oh, and he gets the bottom side of the foot. Rolling Thunder's out, and how about this? The guard are actually going to commit through it, and they will find Sabrosa completely concussed, but everyone else is out of sight. We go to a 4v4 with the spike making its way on.
Yeah, it's tough. You kind of hope that he can stay alive by tucking in the sewers or something like that, since obviously Corey had to get out of there after taking the shot, but it doesn't happen. The guard now has a 4-on-4 post plant with utility set up nicely. They don't even check.
Oh,
they don't even check, and Jonah P trigger discipline. He still doesn't have to show his hand.
This can't happen. Cannot happen. Corey, this feels a little bit too familiar for him. He's stuck up top in heaven once again. 1v multiple, and Jonah's going to get 4 in the round. Oh, boy.
That's tough.
Not good news for TSM here. And now you're going to be looking not just down 11-9, but you're not going to have too much to purchase here. You're looking at having to force overtime.
Yeah, you're in a really rough spot right now economically after trying to make this round happen. It just comes from one corner uncleared on the retake, coming back to haunt them. It's also Sabrosa just getting caught by the Rolling Thunder, while Corey was able to escape after his entry at long. Sabrosa did not have the same luxury, and it wound up equalizing the numbers and giving the guard the sight. And yeah, this is it, pretty much.
This is it right here, yeah. It's going to be a full force purchase coming in with 3 of those weapons being not too significant.
It's a change from Corey, though. Now he's playing a little bit more aggro and sewers with the rifle, and he's got Sabrosa for support. So this is a little bit more team-based setup, I guess you could say.
Deploying drone.
Well, this is going to be a lot of information for the guard. They've already walked up a long. They know that they've got 2 players kind of split up, but it doesn't make a difference.
That's just a great step action from the guard. They read the double personnel in sewers, and they just bypass it up long and get sight, drop Cosmic Divide, and get entries and say, good luck retaking.
Yep. Well, 7 will get 1 for free. The rest could come at a cost. Nova Pulse will slow him down just a touch. Fast lane out. Command up trying to get here to help. Rossi still has a ton of utility left. They need this, and they do use it pretty nicely. Now in the corner, the clearance is looking pretty solid. 3 for 1, the exchange. Just down to Jonah, looking for the win, but not able to put it to rest. What a retake that is for TSM.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that really just was like an RKO at the top turnbuckles. Like, you're not seeing that one coming at all. But somehow, some way, TSM get it done. I thought the guard had that dead to rights. They absorb the sewers pressure. They get into A essentially for free, just walking up because of it, because of their read. Good team play in the heat of the moment to get some entries, get on site. But Net gets caught in a link by 7. That gives TSM a man back. And then they work together with their utility to find a way to pry that A side back open. That is huge. That keeps this game in contention. They had all their eggs in that basket, essentially. If that wouldn't have worked, this would have been GG. But now, all of a sudden, TSM still linger around. What a big moment for them.
There's so much utility.
Yeah, just funneling in there so nice.
Yeah. Wow.
I did not see that one coming. I thought once the guard gets that double entry, even if Net goes down and Link, you still figure, okay, they still have advantage still. But TSM, they figure it out.
Now you got to talk about it a little bit, because TSM are going to be in a position to be full purchased. The guard should be fine still, but these have been expensive rounds in terms of the ultimates that have been spent, so you're going to be a little bit hampered in your kind of team fight ult, if you want to call them that. And for TSM, you should have been able to earn a couple of your own. I think Seekers should be close, if not ready to go again. That's close. And Corey's not going to purchase? Interesting. Oh boy. Okay. This is perfect storm here for Corey. Doesn't get a weapon off, but has the headhunter looking to play off of the flank, but Net very avidly watching it. Saya player 1 on the entry. There's the second. And oh boy, this could be 12 right here as TSM can do nothing towards C.
What a read from the guard. They hold their ground. They anticipate some trickery, and they handle it just fine. Saya player has been an absolute entry god this game, by the way. I mean, it seems like every time he's taking a first duel, he's winning it. It's been to dig them out of tough situations at times, and it's been to just create big, you know, tidal waves of momentum. He's near 30 frags right now. Having a heck of a game. Showing you that you can still make use of Jet even post-nerf, particularly in a rifling role.
Well, Hunter's Fury will open us up here for the guard. Looking to clear out over towards a link. Nothing is there, so here comes the full play, and Net once again picks up the flank.
I mean, my goodness, man.
Come on! Rolling Thunder now in play,
My
and
goodness.
that will likely just do it.
What a fantastic finish from the guard these last few rounds,
Unreal.
man. Just great reads on TSM's aggression. Their team play looks so much better, so much more what we're used to seeing out of them from last stage. And what a statement from them against TSM here to just come out swinging on Haven and reclaim it as their map.
Unreal stuff.